All right, here we go. This is, we're going to deal with everybody's favorite thing. We're going to do a little bit of graphing today, and we're going to talk about these things called ordered pairs. You did a ton of that in Algebra 1 last year, didn't you? Ordered pairs, remember that? Well, let's put the section. I actually skipped 06, okay? Not that it's not important. It's about inequalities, and we will do a little bit with inequalities, but I'm trying to not hit every little thing so we can jump into the geometry pretty soon here, and we're almost ready to do the geometry. But I just try to pick sections that I think you're going to see later on in the geometry, what I think were a little bit more important, and this is one of the things that you're going to see in geometry as well, okay, is ordered pairs. So let's just talk about this briefly. Let's see. It's 07, so just flip till you see 07. Remember this thing?
Oh, no.
Sadly, as bad. Just look at the top. When you see 07, then you know you're there. Look at this. You've got two lines. You remember what we call these things? Axis. Very good. So this, we usually put a little X right there and a Y right there. And that's called an axis. What's that? Is that even? Is that better? Okay. All right, so this is called an axis. This is the x-axis. The horizontal one's the x-axis. The vertical one is the y-axis. Do you know what the plural? Put a PL there. Do you know what the plural for axis is? It's not axes. It's not axi. It actually sounds kind of cool. Axes, right? A-X-E-S. Okay? So you have one axis, but you have two what? Talk to me. Come on, I just said it. You have two what? Axes. Okay, that's how we say it. So you have an x-axis, y-axis, and you have two axes. All right, enough of that. So horizontal is x and the vertical is y. They meet right here. They intersect. That's a good geometry word we're going to talk about a whole lot, really, the rest of the year. They intersect each other. They cross each other. They touch each other, whatever, at that one point right there. Now that point has a certain name. It's the origin. Very good. So you did learn something last year about this. So that's the origin. By the way, we call this, sometimes they call this the coordinate plane, right? And sometimes they call it the rectangular plane. Rectangular plane. All right? Yeah, we'll do that in a second, okay? So this is what we call this thing. Either the coordinate plane or rectangular plane. Just depends on what book you're looking at and who you're talking to on what we call this thing. Oh, here's another crazy word. Did you hear this word before? I almost forgot about this one. This is the cool one. Okay, the Cartesian plane. Any of these things could be used to talk about this x and y axis thing. What's up with Cartesian? Where'd that come from? Well, it's named after a guy, kind of with a girl's name. Okay, it's well, it's French anyway. It's René Descartes. It's a guy, but his name is René. All right, so René Descartes. I think it's this. It's T-E-S, okay? I'm pretty sure it's just D-E. So it's René Descartes, and it's called the Cartesian, right? Because of the cart part of it, Cartesian plane. So anyway, yeah, that's just out there, just so that you know. Lonnie, you getting all this? All right, it would help if your head was up. So let's do that, please. That cracks me up. I love that reaction. I wish I had a video camera every time I told somebody to put their head up, because they're acting. You guys act like I'm like killing you, like. Mr. Hamrick, you're crazy for making me put my head up. Well, that's what you're supposed to do, okay? You're supposed to have your head up and watch. Let's do this. These are number lines, basically, aren't they? You just have a horizontal number line and a vertical number line. And so let's put some numbers in here. Now, if we go to the right on the x-axis, if we go to the right of the origin, what kind of numbers are to the right of the origin on the x-axis? They're positive numbers, that's right. So it's positive 1, positive 2, 3, and 4. Okay, what if we go to the left? Right, they're negative, so it's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Very good, so that's the x-axis. What about if you go up on the y-axis, above? Okay, it's positive. This is all stuff that you've done before, right? And then on the bottom you go, or below, on the origin on the y-axis, you go negative. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and again, it keeps on going. Could put arrows here, couldn't I? Because what do these do? Keep on going. That's right. And we're going to talk, when we start doing the geometry part of this, we're going to talk about things that keep on going. They're lines, okay? All right, so we've got, that's what we've got right here. Now, what we're going to talk about today, let's go to a different color right here. Let's go, what would really contrast with yellow? Let's go yellow. What we're going to do is we're going to put some points on here. So let's put a point about right there. Now, I'm trying to go right above and right across from the actual whole numbers, okay? So don't think, oh, that's 2.1 or it's 1.9, okay? If it looks like it's above the 2, it's above the 2, all right? Is that all right with you? Because I don't have the graph paper on here. I could do that, but I just didn't. I just didn't put it on here for now. So look at this point right here. We call this, what was the title of this little lesson? Ordered pairs, right? So it was an ordered pair. So we actually describe this point. We tell somebody where this point's located by an ordered pair. Well, what does pair mean? How many things do you have if you have a pair? You have two things. And order, you got to put it in a certain order. So here's the order for an ordered pair. First of all, the way we write it is we put parentheses. This should not be new to you. Would you agree? Didn't you do this stuff in Algebra 1? So you should have parentheses and a comma in between. And then the x always goes first. It has to be in a certain order. That's why we call it an ordered pair. The x goes first, and guess what? The y goes second. All right? It has to be in that order. There's two of them, so it's an ordered pair. Make sense? Why we call it an ordered pair? Sure. So this is where we have to go. Now, origin means what?
Middle, zero.
Well, it means, like the actual word, it means the beginning. It means where you start, okay? If you start at the origin of something, right, that means where does it begin? Well, it begins right here, so we always start right here. And so this tells us, the ordered pair says, okay, in order to get to this point, we got to go in two directions. We have to go in the x direction, then we have to go to the y direction, all right? So if we start here, we have to go in the x direction. So how many places in which direction do we go?
Two. Right.
2 to the
right.
So that's positive 2, isn't it? And then we're right here. That's not where that yellow point is. Then what do? We got to go up. How many places? 3 places. So this ordered pair is how many places in the x direction, how many places in the y direction. So this is 2, 3. That's that ordered pair right there. Make sense? Yeah, this is all old stuff, though, isn't it? Yeah, you've done plenty of this kind of thing. But this is important that we have this background because we're going to be definitely using this stuff later on. It won't be real early on, but it will be later on. Actually, I lied. There is this, like section 1.2 or 1.3 or something like that. You're actually going to need to know this stuff. So, yeah, pretty soon, actually, you will need to be able to do this. Let's put another point on here. Let's go a different color. Let's put the point right here.
-4, -4.
Yep. Everybody see that? So you start at the origin. You always start at the beginning, right? Start at the beginning, at the origin. And in order to get to this point, we got to go left. Always go in the x direction first. Don't go up and down first. Go left or right first. So we go to the left 4 places, which is -4. And then what do we got to do? We got to go down 4 places. All right? So that would be -4 going down. So that point right there is -4, -4. Everybody good? You writing this stuff down? Getting all this down? Okay. Now, they could do a couple things. They could give you a graph. They'll give you some points, and they don't label them, and you have to label the coordinate. That's why they call this the coordinate plane. We call this an ordered pair, but we also call it a coordinate. Coordinate. That just means where in this graph is it located? What is the location of that point? That's what it means by coordinate. I don't know if you watch any old movies or something like that, like war movies. I don't know. I'm just picturing these guys on a submarine. For some reason, I have this one movie. I don't even know the name of the movie, but I got it in my head where they've got this like glass screen, not a screen, but like this table. It's got a map on it. I don't know. You ever see anything like that? Where they got this glass map and you
like
can see,
submarines,
yeah, like in the submarines and stuff, you know. And they're like, okay, they're right here, and the enemy is right here. And what do? They usually draw got a ruler, and they say, okay, we got to go, boom, right here. Well, and they'll say, Captain, what are our coordinates? Like Star Trek. I don't know, I'm not a big Star Trek fan, but they'll say, Captain, what are our coordinates? You'll hear that a lot, all right? So once we start talking about this, you may watch a movie, and they say, what are our coordinates? And you're like, oh, yeah, that's the stuff we did in Mr. Hammer's class. That's exactly the same kind of stuff here. They call it coordinates. Where is it located? Where are you located? GPS, right? Who's used a GPS? Raise your hand. All right, just a handful of years ago, if I asked who's ever used a GPS, half the people would have said, what's a GPS? I don't even know what that is. But now it's so common, they build them into cars. You can go and get a GPS. My goodness, it's right on my phone. Probably half of you have a GPS right on your phone. All right, so everybody's used to a GPS. I remember the days when GPS first came out, it was just absolutely amazing. They didn't have all the roads and stuff, but they would tell you your coordinates, where you were on this Earth. What was your latitude and what was your longitude? You remember learning that kind of stuff like in science class? Yeah. And that's what they would tell you. We just thought it was so cool. Now it's like common day. It's like, you know, if I went on a long trip, I probably wouldn't even get in a car without a GPS nowadays. All right. So that's what coordinate is. That's our coordinate. All right. So sometimes they'll ask you, they'll just give you a blank graph. They'll put a couple dots on there somewhere, and they'll say, what are the coordinates of these points? All right, listen. What are the coordinates of the points? And what do you write? You write a coordinate as an ordered pair. All right, that's what you write. That's what your answer would be, is an ordered pair. Everybody makes sense? Does it make sense? Or they could do what? They could just give you a coordinate, and then you have to do what? Plot it. That's right. We say plot or graph it. Sometimes they'll say graph the point. Sometimes they'll say plot the point. P-L-O-T. So they'll say either plot the point or graph the point, and they'll give you the coordinate. All right. That's the kind of stuff that you got to be able to do. All right. It's pretty easy, isn't it? I'll tell you what. Let's hit a couple other points. Some kind of special points. Let's put a point right here, right on that y-axis. Everybody see that point?
0, 3.
Very good. All right. Because a lot of people get these mixed up. So this one. This is where it gets a little bit complicated for some folks. Watch. If I'm starting at the origin, which way do I go? Do I go left and right in order to get up to that point? I don't have to go anywhere left or right, do I? So I go where? 0. But then I have to go up. So I have to have something in for the x. That would be 0. And then I go to 3. Make sense? So 0, 3 is that point. What about this point right here? What would that point be?
Negative 4, 0.
Good, because you start here and you have to go left and right first. So you have to go left 4 places. That's negative 4. Then how far up and down do you get? Nowhere, because you're already there, right? So you put in what? 0. So that's negative 4, 0. Yeah, we are. We'll talk about that in a sec. What about the origin? What's the ordered pair? What's the coordinate of the origin? 0, 0. Good. All right, that's pretty easy. Let's see. Let me flip through the book here. See if there's anything that I missed. Sometimes they'll say this. Watch this. I'll do this example in the book. Let's draw x and y axis. All right, and let's go to a different color. Let's go to blue. All right, and that's what they're going to say. They're going to say graph a polygon. All right, polygon just means a figure. We'll talk a lot more specifically about what polygons are in a minute. With vertices, what in the world's a vertice? Well, it's a vertex. For instance, if I did this, if I drew a rectangle, that's a polygon. Okay, what's a vertex? A vertex is where they come together. Everybody see that? So that would be a vertex. Okay, or plural would be vertices. Okay, vertex is one, vertices would be more than one. All right, so that's what they're asking you right here, just so that you understand their wording. So they're going to say, graph a polygon with these vertices. And they put letters out in front because these are the points that these points are going to go at. So point A is at negative 3, 3. Point B is at 1, 3. So this is what they're going to, this is the kind of stuff they're going to give you in the homework. Point C is 0, 1. And then point D is negative 4, 1. Negative 4, 1. All right, so what we want to do is we want to plot these things, and we want to make it a polygon, which is a shape. Okay, we want to get all the sides, you know, connect all the dots, all right? Connect the vertices. Devin. No, I'm not going to give you graph paper, but you can do this. I don't have graph paper right here, do I? So you can do it without graph paper. If you have graph paper and you want to use it, feel free to use it, okay? You don't have to, though. You can use just regular paper to do this on. So let's put some points. Let's see. Let's go 4 places. Now, I'm not being, you know, I'm not real super accurate. If you have a ruler, though, you can use a ruler and put it on there to make sure that they're evenly spaced. Okay, these should be all evenly spaced. I just didn't take the time to do that, but if you have a ruler, it shouldn't be that hard to do that. All right, let's put some points on here. Let's go different color.
White.
What? White?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go white. So here we go, negative 3, 3. So negative 3, start at the origin, negative 3, 3. Basically just plotting 4 points and then connecting all the vertices. Right, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 3, right? 1, 2, 3, it would be about right there. Oh, it's pretty close. 1, 3, so you start at the origin again, you go to the right 1, and you go up 3. That would be right there. Okay? 0, 1, so you start at the origin, you go 0 in the x direction, and you go up, what? 1 place. That would be here. Then our last point is negative 4, 1. Start at the origin, you go 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go up 1, which would be right there. Do you see that polygon? All right. I'll try to draw it like that. So that's one side. That's another side right there. There's another one. And then there's another one. Well, it's close. That's why you got to try to be a little bit more accurate. That's not too bad, is it? So there it is. There's my polygon. If you want, let's label it. Let's label point A. Which one was point A? Negative 3, 3. That was point A. Point B was 1, 3. So that was this one up here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And which one was C? This one down here. And D was negative 4. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not A. Somebody should have told me. Negative 3, 3. That would be that one way up here, wouldn't it? That would be A. And then this one, that's negative 4, 1. So that's D. And there you go. So we graphed a polygon with 4 vertices. Throwing a lot of new words out at you, but that's what this means. The polygon is this shape, this 4-sided figure. Every vertex has a point associated with it. Okay, we plotted the points on the rectangular coordinate. Man, tons of different words here, aren't there? So, and there you go. That's how you do it. I think that's probably all you need to know to be able to do the stuff I'm going to give you. So, let's see what. Let me look on my paper. So we're going to do 1 to 26. All right. So it's I'm sorry. Oh yeah. That's right. We're going to do 1 to 26. Some of these are so easy. They're not. Look, they give you a point and you plot it. How long does that take? You could do 50 of those. It'll take you 5 minutes to do. Okay. So that's not that. It's not going to be 50 of these kind. 1 to 26. All right. It's page P16. Page P16. You can use graph paper if you'd like. You don't have to, but you can if you want. So it's section 07. Remember, we skipped 06, so it's section 07. P16, and we're doing 1 to 26. Listen, this will be like the 3rd or 4th time I've said this. You can use graph paper if you would like. All right? You don't have to use graph paper. All right? If you want to, feel free. Do you have to? Talk to me. No. All right, very good. All right, you got to listen to me at least the 2nd or 3rd time I say something. 4 times gets a little frustrating. All right, so there you go. That's what your homework is, and that's it. You got a few minutes. Let's start working on it. Okay, get some of these done. Look at 1 through 15. Oh my goodness. They give you a whole bunch of points. All you got to do is figure out what the coordinate of the points are. You don't even have to graph them at all. 1 through 15. Just write down what the coordinates are. That's it. Have fun with that.